What's up, guys? Welcome to my Halloween video where I mentioned this before. Uh, that's Louie. He's Frankenstein today. Say hello, Louie. Oh, well, he's gone. Anyways, I'm going to be doing my video where I show all the movies that I bought in the month of October, which turned out to be way more than I normally would buy. But it turned out really cool. And the funny thing is, for some weird reason last night, decided to count them. And I had 31 movies, which I thought was crazy, because that was totally unplanned. But yeah, I got some real gems here, and so yeah, this is just going to be an all horror movie video. So join me. Also, I am going to attempt to record the rest of this video wearing this Blade Puppet Master mask I bought from the Halloween store. I can't wear this thing over my glasses, so it might be a challenge. And I might occasionally take it off to take a sip of my coffee, but other than that, here we go. Okay, glasses off. Probably the only time you'll ever see me without glasses. Alright, I think I can do this. I don't know how the audio is going to sound because it sounds very echoey in here, but so we're going to start this off with a bang. And the coolest thing I have here, at least in my opinion, is this Scream Factory Blu-ray Omen box set. This is just like that Fly box set that I showed last time. So there are 5 movies in here. It's every Omen movie ever made, including the remake, which, whatever. But there's the back of it. It's very cool. It's very cool. So yeah, I guess to be all-inclusive, it had to have the remake, but I've seen the remake. It's fine. It's watchable. It's not great, but whatever. So, obviously you have the Omen, the original Gregory Peck classic. You got, by the way, I've never seen any of the sequels, any of them. So, you got Damien Omen 2. I'm actually pretty stoked to watch that because, like I said, never seen it. You have The Final Conflict, the one with, I've known about this one. Yeah, the one with Sam Neill, where he plays Damien as an adult. I've always wanted to see that one, I guess just because I like Sam Neill. Then you have The Omen 4, The Awakening. I don't know anything about this. To be honest, I've never even heard of it. Never heard of it, but still stoked to watch it. And the Omen remake with Liev Schreiber, whatever. Liev Schreiber. It's okay. It's totally skippable. It's not unwatchable, but it's pointless, really. And as you guys probably know by now, I'm not opposed to a remake. I don't mind remakes, but that one is just not that. It's just totally, it's dull. So I'm going to record this entire video and then probably not going to like how it sounds, but I'm just going to keep going. Alright. I had to surface for air and coffee. Back to the mayhem. Alright. So none of these are in any order. They're just scattered. Most of these I have not watched yet. Yeah, most of them I haven't watched yet, or I've never seen. Some I've seen before, and some I've watched recently. But so I thought this one looked interesting. It's called Julia. I may not, I might not be able to say dates and stuff because I can't really see that well without my glasses. But it looks like this one came out in 2013. It is a revenge movie. I think you could even probably, from what I've read, you can probably call it and I'm not going to say the word because I've heard that it's not a YouTube-friendly word, and I get that. So I'm going to say grape. Grape. This is a grape and revenge movie. I don't know. I've read a lot of reviews. Most of them weren't super positive, but I just thought it looked like an alright movie, so I picked it up. Grape and Revenge. I'm not a big fan of grape movies, but I don't know. it's a thing in horror. So, all right. Next, I've been picking up quite a few of these Shudder originals, and honestly, I've yet to see one that I thought was bad. In fact, I thought a lot of them are pretty damn good. So I've been blind buying most of them. I got The Cleansing Hour here. This is a recent movie. This came out in 2019. I think this is an American movie, but yeah, I don't know anything about it. Thought it looked pretty cool. And Shudder's killing it with their original movie so far. I've always wanted to see, because I've never seen any of them, I've always wanted to see the Paul Naschy werewolf movies. So I picked up this one, Werewolf Shadow. This is kind of the Paul Naschy movies are fan favorites of the werewolf genre. This is from 1970. Yeah, so originally titled La Noche de Walpurgis, which is way cooler. And the original cover, the original movie poster is way cooler. But whatever. Yeah, stoked to watch it. Like I said, I've always wanted to see some of these. Finally, I have one. Next, we have. This is just a lot of these are random buys, blind buys, if you will. This is an Asian movie. Is it a Chinese, Korean? I'm not really sure, but Silk. Kind of a supernatural thriller from what I've read. I've watched and owned a lot of these Tartan Asia Extreme titles in the past, and I've liked a lot of them, so. You can blind buy them safely for the most part. There are some duds, but, what do you expect? So this one, I've never seen. I always wanted to watch it. I don't own any of the Roger Corman movies, so it's about time that I get at least one in my collection. We have Piranha. This is an old one. This is a Shout Factory Shout Factory version. What year did this come out? 1978. So Shout Factory did a bang-up job with this, like they do with all their stuff. It's got a nice booklet. It's got a really cool reversible cover, which I will probably flip it because this one looks way cooler than the original. Very badass. I've always liked Jaws. I've always been terrified of things in the water, so movies like this are usually kind of freaky for me. This movie I bought kind of by accident. So I read about this. This is an American remake of a French movie, and I didn't know that. It's the French one that I wanted, but it's the American one that I bought. Clearly, I did not do my research very well, as I'm known to do from time to time. So, what I got was Inside. I can't remember the name of the French one. It's a long French title. I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyways. So the French movie is just totally fucked up and disturbing. It's kind of like considered a big part of like that new wave of like I think they call it like new wave of French horror cinema. Along with like Frontiers and Martyrs and High Tension, just those really fucked up French movies. So this one's, like I said, an American remake. I've heard it's all right, but I've heard it does not hold a candle to the original, and how would it? Yeah, it's basically a story about a pregnant woman who has just some random woman stalking her and wants her baby, because I guess she can't have one, and yeah. So, I don't know. I'm really conflicted on whether I even want to watch this. I probably will, but I don't know. I guess at least I don't have anything to compare it to because I haven't seen the original. But yeah, that was hugely disappointing. This next one is not a horror movie necessarily. This is just a random thing that I found at a local store, and I just thought it looked really fucking cool. it really reminded me of Blade Runner, and I'm a huge Blade Runner fan. And I've heard this is actually a pretty decent movie anyway, so it's called Immortal. I got the Steelbook version. Crazy storyline from what I've read. And this is not an American movie. I want to say, I believe it's a French movie as well. Yeah, I could be wrong. I have read about this, but yeah, I might not have my facts straight. But this has to do with like Egyptian mythology, and it's set in the future. It looks like Blade Runner. I don't know. It just sounded really interesting. Now this next one, I have watched this recently, and I absolutely loved it. I kind of ignored this movie from the beginning because a lot of people, when it came out, people were really hyping it up, and I just figured it was going to be an overrated movie, and I didn't really care to see it, oddly enough. And even more oddly, I bought it. I blind bought it, probably just because I saw it in the store, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to give it a chance. And I'm really glad I did, because I thought this movie was killer. We got Terrifier. I'm going to take this mask off. This is killing me. I tried. I'm already... You see that sweat drip out? Holy fuck, dude. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, no. I was going to turn into a sauna. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see. I couldn't drink my coffee. But I did pretty good, right? Louis still has his Frankenstein mask on. So we're good. Louis has had this Frankenstein mask for many years now, at least 3 or 4. And he wears it every Halloween. So, anyways, back to Terrifier. I know I did show this movie in a new stuff video not too long ago. But yeah, this movie was so good. Honestly, I thought the storyline was fine. Simple, straightforward kind of slasher storyline. So don't expect any kind of any kind of depth. This is a total 80s style slasher, but with a really, really, really good villain. I'll be honest, I initially just thought this was just going to be another clown movie. This is not just another clown movie. The guy that plays, his name, by the way, is Art. And the guy that plays Art, what is his name? I don't remember his name, and I don't... Anyways, yeah, you can look him up. This guy did such a good job. His acting was truly disturbing. The character was brutal. The kills, some of the kills in this movie are so over the top. Some of the most over the top kills you'll ever see. And they did a really good job with the DVD. It's got a really cool... I showed it already in the other video, but I'll show it again. I'll show the reversible cover. I totally recommend this movie. As usual, the reversed side I think is cooler and definitely more brutal. But dude, yeah. If you've seen Terrifier, let me know what you think. Now this movie I watched the other night. I only really learned about this like a couple days ago. Went out and bought it. I was really excited for it. I don't regret watching it, but I do kind of regret buying it because I don't know. I don't think I'll ever have the need to watch it again, and I didn't really need to spend $10 on it. So I wish I'd have just watched it for free or something like that. So I'm talking about Becky. So I am kind of a sucker for revenge movies, especially when the character that gets the revenge is like a female or like even better, a child, or even better, a female child. There's just something about it, that concept, to me, that's really cool. I don't know. It's all right. It's directed okay. It's acted okay. It's pretty violent. Like the kills in it are decent. They're not anything you've never seen before. The kills are pretty decent. I guess the problems that I would have is, first of all, not that he did the worst job in the world, but I think he could have done better, or I think they could have found somebody better. The main bad guy in this movie is Kevin James, King of Queens, and Paul Blart. And like I said, he does okay, but even there are times where he tries to be really menacing. And honestly, I think in real life he's probably just a really nice guy, because he's not, even when he tries to be his most imposing, he's not that scary. I think they could have got someone who was just more convincing. So that was one of the problems I had. The other problem I had is this is a revenge movie, and I think the director of this movie really missed the mark. Now, I've already said that I'm not a fan of movies with grape in it. I'm not, but at the same time, in the 70s and 80s even, you had that big grape and revenge kind of subgenre going on. And let's admit, a lot of us have seen those movies, Last House on the Left, I Spit on Your Grave, countless others. What makes those movies so impactful is the trauma that the main character goes through. As much as we don't like seeing that shit, or even knowing that it took place, that's what makes the revenge so much more rewarding. And that's what, those movies, revenge movies, are supposed to be shocking. For someone to get revenge and for you to really root for them, you gotta have a reason. I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but like basically, she's getting revenge for these bad guys that kill her dad. You would think like, okay, that's more than enough. Reason for her to get revenge. But like, her dad to me is like a totally unlikable guy. He's kind of a selfish dick, and it's like when he dies, you don't really feel that bad. So I don't know. Just the way that it was set up and everything, and this all falls under the director and screenwriter, I guess you could say. It's not impactful, like a really good revenge movie is. It doesn't. You're pretty much just in it for the kills are nice, but that's really it. There's no real emotion in this movie. So I don't know what you guys thought if you've seen it. And this movie right here, I really liked. I watched this last night. I picked this up due to Eric Bauer's recommendation, and as usual, Eric doesn't disappoint. Neither did this movie. Almost Human. I absolutely enjoyed it. This is a directorial debut from a guy named Joe Begos, who has gone on to do like 2 or 3 other movies, which I'm definitely going to track down. This came out in 2013, and I've known about this. I've seen it. I had seen it in a local store and just kind of passed it by. But when Eric said that he liked it, I immediately went and bought it, and absolutely loved it. This is kind of a homage to and it's, I think it even says right on the back. Okay, maybe down on the back, but every review I've read, it's pretty much like an homage to like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and John Carpenter's The Thing, and it totally is. But it also manages to do its own thing. It also has huge like slasher vibes. I just really enjoyed it. It's a short movie. Like it's 79 minutes, so it's very short. Just really enjoyable. I will definitely be watching this again at some point, which is saying a lot for me. But yeah, really, really, really fun. Definitely check out Almost Human. This one, of course, I've seen this. I've seen this movie decades ago. I've just always wanted to own it, and I don't know why it took me this long, but I've really been in like a huge John Carpenter mood lately, which isn't unusual for me. But we got Big Trouble in Little China. Not necessarily a horror movie. I don't know what you'd call this movie. You could call it sci-fi. You could call it fantasy. Sci-fi fantasy, maybe some horror elements, because John Carpenter just kind of has horror in his DNA, I think. But yeah, John Carpenter, Kurt Russell classic. Can't wait to rewatch it. I've really, really been wanting to watch this lately, and it's a great movie. Now, this one I saw on Netflix probably 10 or so years ago, and it just left a huge mark on me. I've always wanted to own it, and I, for some reason, didn't get around to picking it up until recently. We have Stakeland. In my opinion, this is a vampire movie classic. This came out in 2010, and this is easily one of the best vampire movies I've ever seen. It is easily the most brutal vampire movie I've ever seen. This kind of blends, the vampire subgenre with the post-apocalyptic subgenre. And it's not the only movie that's ever done that, but I think it is the best to ever do it. So this is, wow, it's only 98 minutes. It feels longer because this movie it's quite taxing. It's very bleak. It almost has the bleakness of like, what was that fucking Viggo Mortensen movie, The Road? Was it called The Road? I think it was called The Road. If you've ever seen The Road, you know, that's a very bleak post-apocalyptic movie. If you took The Road and added, vampires to it, that's kind of where you get Stakeland. It's very bleak. It's depressing and disturbing at times, but it's really fucking good. It's basically set in the near future where there's a virus that kind of leads to vampirism. People are turning into vampires, and of course vampires are turning everyone else into vampires, and basically humans are they've pretty much been hunted to the brink of extinction. There are kind of like sparse clans of humans that are still, just barely hanging on, and they are trying to make a trek to some part of Canada, which is supposedly like this safe haven for some reason. So everyone's trying to get there, and of course, that's not going to be easy. But dude, out of all these movies I'm showing, this is probably the one I'd say to check out the most. Definitely watch it. I picked up a couple of these Severin films because Severin just does a fucking great job. They've been putting out these old kind of forgotten movies, and which is great because I'm not super knowledgeable with like a super obscure horror. I'm getting there, but it's taken some time. So I picked up this 1972, I believe it's a Spanish movie. Yeah, Spanish movie, Cannibal Man. Picked this up a couple weeks ago. I haven't watched it yet. Look at that cover. How do you not buy that? If that were a death metal album, you'd buy it in a heartbeat. Yeah, super stoked to watch it. I wonder if Severin does reversible covers. They do not, at least not on this one. So this is a 1972. Yeah, 1972 movie. Yeah, I'd actually never heard of it. I literally saw that and grabbed it and bought it because why wouldn't you? And I think on the same day I bought this other Severin film. This is a 1980 movie. I guess this is an exploitation movie, which is not a subgenre that I usually go for. So we got Midnight. This is an American movie. Apparently this is a lot of the crew that worked on Night of the Living Dead made this, which I thought was cool. Some pretty crazy shit on the back. I'm like, how am I not buying that for $13? The top review on the back says, shocking and depraved. How can you not love a movie that starts with a girl caught in an animal trap getting killed by children who pray to Satan? Yeah. Had to buy it. This one I bought just for the sheer fuck of it. This is known to be kind of one of the weakest Hammer horror films ever made, and it's one of the later Hammer horror films. And I'm not talking about like the 2000s resurgence. This is 1972, so like the original Hammer run. This is kind of the tail end of it. We got Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter. Never really heard a damn good thing about this, but I picked it up anyway just because I like to kind of collect the Hammer films, and I'll watch it at least once. But who knows? Maybe I'll like it. I can't just go by reviews and shit. Louis, stop licking everything. All right, this next movie, I have known about this for a long time. I just always passed it by because, it just didn't look or sound like anything that I needed. You know what I mean? We have Clown. I see a movie called Clown, and yeah, I'm just gonna pass it by. But I ended up randomly reading some reviews of this, and it actually sounds pretty good. So, yeah, thought I'd pick it up. Haven't watched it yet, but pretty stoked. Just to what I watched. Sounds like it actually has a pretty cool storyline, and it even has a bit of like folklore mixed in there. It's basically about this dude who buys this new house, and he finds he's going through the attic, and he finds this clown mask. Little does he know, the clown mask is actually an actual skin of a. So in Icelandic folklore, there are, I guess you could call them like demons or monsters or whatever. They're called cloynes, and so this clown mask is basically made of this skin of a cloyne face, and cloynes are very like they're kind of like Icelandic demons. So basically, whoever wears this cloyne mask, which basically just looks like a clown mask, whoever puts it on basically becomes possessed. So that's pretty fucking original and pretty cool if you ask me. This movie I've never heard of ever, but after seeing the cover, I thought it looked pretty cool. Came out in 2010, I guess. Yeah, who wouldn't buy this for like $3-4? Bloodbath in the House of Knives. I mean, how cool is that? I don't know if the movie's any good. I don't know anything about it, but it looks cool. And yeah, like I said, I think I paid $3 or $4 for it. So this next one, also not a horror movie. I think this is like one of two out of all these. It's not a horror movie, but I saw this sitting there, at a local store. Obviously, it looked very intriguing. Saw it sitting there, and I was like, "Wow, that looks really cool." But I normally only buy horror movies, so I passed it by. Thought about it, went back to it, and bought it just because it looked so cool, and it was like $2 or $3. I ended up doing a little research on it. It's a documentary, and it's super highly rated. Nothing but stellar reviews. This is called The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. It's just about people, about these guys that play Donkey Kong arcade game, which doesn't sound it doesn't sound super interesting, but I was definitely an old school gamer when I was a kid, so I can relate to this kind of thing. It's got a cool reversible cover with a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not saying you have to care about that, but it's pretty impressive. So should be a fun watch, and yeah. Another blind buy here. Thought it looked cool. Read some reviews. It's got some pretty good reviews on IMDb. Came out in 2017. This is a Scream Factory IFC Midnight DVD. We got, I don't know what it's called, Pia-Wacket. Cool reverse cover. Other side I think looks better. This side I think it looks a little cooler than the front. The main cover, but yeah. It sounded intriguing. From the producers of The Witch. I really liked The Witch. Not that it having the same producers really means anything, but whatever. Liked The Witch. Here's another Shudder exclusive. Haven't seen it. Haven't even really ever heard anything about it, but I think I picked this up for $1. Sun. This came out. This is a recent one too. It came out in 2020. Yeah. Here's an all-time classic that I've literally wanted to own this for years and years, and I literally have wanted to see it for years and years. I've never seen this movie, which you might find surprising. This is a 80s. Was it early 90s? When did this come out originally? 92. Wow. I was gonna say I always thought this was an 80s movie, but at the same time, I think I can remember it coming out. Which in 92 I was 10. I wasn't watching horror back then, but anyways, Candyman. In light of the recent remake, which I'm also wanting to see, of course I had to get the original. Like I said, I've been wanting to get this for years. I did not know this was based off a Clive Barker story called The Forbidden. I've read actually a lot of Clive Barker. I haven't read The Forbidden. I actually am not even familiar with it, to be honest. But yeah, Tony Todd. It's a mandatory classic, I would say. I know I haven't seen it, but still, I think it's fair to say that. This movie, goddamn, this must be at least the second or third time I've owned this. Why I have to buy it so many times, I don't know. I think in the past I'd gotten rid of it. I don't typically get rid of movies anymore. I usually just keep everything I buy. So I do like this movie. I don't think it's great or anything, but I think for what it is, I think it's pretty good. It's definitely brutal and disturbing, and it kind of spawned a series that never really lived up to this debut. But this came out in 2006. We have Eli Roth's Hostel. There are at least 3 Hostels. I think I still have 2 and 3. 2 I thought was pretty entertaining. 3 was forgettable and pretty much worthless. It was like a low budget. Yeah, 3 sucks. Stay away from 3. I think that I actually hope that Eli Roth returns, and I hope he makes another sequel. I think would be cool. I also got this for $1, which is probably all it's worth. Maybe not even that, but I mean I haven't seen it yet. Maybe it's good. This is the third. I think this is the third movie in the Species series. Came out in 2007. Damn. Species: The Awakening. I really like the first one. Actually, this might be the fourth. I was gonna say. Yeah, I think it's the fourth because I really like the first one. I kind of like the second one. yeah, the third one, because I have the first 3. The third one is pretty bad, and we'll see if this one continues in the downfall of the series. But yeah, like I said, paid $1 for it. I also had this back when it came out. Saw it in the theater for some reason. So I saw it in the theater. I bought it when it came out. I've never really gotten into this movie. I think I just never. I don't know. To be honest, I was still like when this came out in the theater. I was kind of still getting into horror. This is back in 2005. So I think I just wasn't quite there yet. But we have The Descent. I don't know why I bought the full screen version. I think I paid $1 for it, so I don't really care. Whatever. So this is directed by Neil Marshall, who did Dog Soldiers before this, and he's gone on to do a couple other movies. This might be his most successful movie. I think that's probably fair to say. A lot of people consider this a modern classic. It's pretty good. I guess I can't really give an honest opinion because like I said, I wasn't really in the right frame of mind the first time or two that I watched it. So it's basically about a group of women who go cave exploring, spelunking I think it's called, and they end up getting lost in this series of caves, which sounds, I mean, that right there is terrifying. Fuck caves, dude. Fuck caves. And it turns out that there's like this like ancient race of creatures that live in there that are, since they live in total dark, they're blind, but they have like a super keen sense of hearing, and they're killing machines, of course. I guess these monsters have never found their way out of the caves. Maybe they never cared to find their way out because, I don't know, because they're blind. But, yeah, Descent. Alright, these last 2 I just thought sounded really fun. I haven't seen either of them, but I saw a preview on, I can't remember what movie I was watching, but I saw a preview for this first one. I thought it sounded really cool, and yeah, we'll see. We got Wolf Cop. Looks like a total 80s throwback. I don't know, it looks like Dirty Harry meets Teen Wolf to me, and it just sounds fun. Yeah, check out this reversible cover. Very fucking cool. Instead of a bear carpet, he's sitting on a man carpet, man rug. And so I got that. And last but not least, I got another Wolf Cop. So I got the sequel starring 2017, starring Kevin Smith. So yeah, no reversible cover on this one, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, I just love looking at the cover, especially of this sequel. I mean, this just looks like an '80s movie. Looks like a lost, low budget '80s action horror classic. So, anyways. That's all I got. We're running on 36 minutes. Nice. I only say that because I think my iPad, I think it records only up to 45 minutes or something like that. So I can't really go any longer than that without it cutting me off. So anyways, that is 31 movies. What do you guys think? What are you doing today on this Halloween? My kid is, he's 13 now, so he doesn't trick-or-treat anymore. Even though I think I still trick-or-treated when I was 13. But whatever. He doesn't have any interest in that anymore. So, this year, I live in an apartment. So I don't really plan on getting any trick-or-treaters. Usually in apartments, you don't. And I live in an apartment building where I don't see a lot of kids here. I'm just going to do my best. I'm gonna buy a bag of candy. I'm going to sit out in the living room and watch movies. And I'm going to hope we get some trick-or-treaters. If not, I'll have to eat all the candy myself, which is usually not an issue. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. Talk to me about these movies. Should be a good time. Have you seen any of these? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Let me know what you think. Other than that, yeah, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Louis says hello and goodbye as well. Cheers. Talk soon.